Thank you for giving me this honor to give the keynote address to the organizers of this very respected lecture. Respected Ambassador Pankaj Sareen, Admiral Manvinder Sir, Vice Admiral Sanjay, Jasjeet, Lieutenant Dushant, DG Claus, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to each one of you. It's a matter of great honor and privilege to me to deliver this keynote address in this August gathering on the topic, the challenges of pursuing strategic autonomy in the increasingly fractious world. A subject that lies at the very heart of contemporary international relations. General Sundarji is one of the most far-sighted and visionary military commander India has ever had. This annual gathering is a tribute to the legendary leader whose legacy continues to illuminate our path as we navigate the complexities of rapid changing world. His tenure as Chief of Army Staff from 1986 to 1988 was a defining period in the history of the Indian leadership. Under his leadership, we also witnessed the expansion of the mechanized infantry regiment, transforming our armed forces into a more agile and formidable force. He is a transformative leader whose reforms have profound impact on the foundation of Indian Army. Coming on the emerging world order, we meet a time when the global order is undergoing profound transformation. And I would like to read out from the Canadian PM, Mr. Mark Carney's remarks during World Economic Forum in January this year at Davos, Switzerland. Where he says, we're in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. The end of nice story and beginning of the brutal reality, where geopolitics among great powers is not a subject of any constraints. Great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons, tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as cost, and supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. These words of Canadian PM aptly cover the world geopolitical situation today. The world order that emerged after disintegration of USSR is now slowly collapsing. A new global order seems to be taking shape. The change driven by a number of geopolitical events, including the rapid rise of China, the resurgence of Russia, advent of disruptive technologies, and emergence of new economies such as India, Brazil, Turkey, and Indonesia, has led to a diffusion of power between major global powers. The certainties that once defined international politics are steadily eroding, replaced by complex interplay of shifting alliances, competing interests, technological disruptions, and rising geopolitical tensions. These shifts in the power balance, disruptions, and uncertainties are the reasons for the conflicts we see in West Asia, the Middle East, and between Russia and Ukraine. In such an environment, the idea of strategic autonomy, once viewed as the aspirational principle, has now become a practical necessity of nations seeking to safeguard their sovereignty, economy, security, and long-term interests. The word was strategic autonomy. At its core, strategic autonomy refers to a nation's ability to make decisions based on its own interests, free from undue extreme pressure or dependence. It's not about isolation, nor it is about disintegration. Rather, it is about engaging with the world on one's own terms, maintaining the flexibility to cooperate, compete, or dissent as circumstances demand. Its key features are independent decision-making, diversified partnership, self-reliance in defense, energy and technology, and flexibility in diplomacy. In this emerging landscape, the idea of strategic autonomy has acquired renowned importance, especially for a country like India, with civilization depth, democratic foundations, and growing global aspirations. India and strategic autonomy. India's strategic autonomy is deeply enriched into ancient principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which translates to world is one family, which finds origin in the ancient Maha. This idea promotes a worldview in which all humans are viewed as members of a single family, fostering empathy and cross-border cooperations. This philosophy promotes the unity of all existence and is cornerstone of India's foreign policy. This approach has positioned India as a significant voice for global peace and the developed world, particularly in a multipolar world where power politics and competing national interests are more prevalent. Since independence, India's approach to the world has been guided by conviction that true sovereignty lies not merely in territorial integrity, but in the freedom to make independent choices. India's concept of such independence found expression in the North Line movement, which has presently transformed into a contemporary multi-aligned engagement. Our such multi-alignment engagement is much more complex than engagements we had in the bipolar Cold War era. It needs very delicate balancing act in the landscape that is not just multipolar, but also deeply contested.